Did you know that even the biggest stars in Hollywood think about how they want to say goodbye one day? It might sound surprising, right? We usually think of legends like Jane Fonda as larger than life, like they'll always be here. But the truth is, at 87 years old, Jane Fonda has already made her burial plans. Yes, she has thought it all through. Where she wants to rest, how she wants to be remembered, and what her final chapter should look like. Now, before you think this is a sad story, let me stop you right there. It's actually the opposite. It's powerful, it's inspiring, and it's full of life. Jane isn't scared of the idea of death. She's embracing it. She's treating it as a natural part of the journey, not something to avoid or hide from. And that's what makes this story worth sharing. Because it's not just about Jane Fonda. It's about how all of us can think about our own lives, our legacies, and the choices we make along the way. Think about it for a second. How often do you hear someone talk openly about their burial plans? Most people don't even want to bring it up. It feels uncomfortable. It feels like bad luck. But Jane is different. She's flipping the conversation. She's saying, this is life. This is what happens to all of us. Why pretend it won't? And in doing so, she's making people see that talking about these things doesn't make life darker, it actually makes life brighter. Now, let's back up a little and talk about Jane herself. Jane Fonda isn't just any celebrity. She's a Hollywood icon, an activist, and someone who has reinvented herself again and again. She's been on the big screen for decades. She's won Oscars. She's been at the front lines of political and social movements. And let's not forget, she was the queen of the workout tape back in the day. People used to follow her aerobic videos religiously. She has lived so many different lives within her one life, and that's part of what makes her story so fascinating. But as much as she's accomplished, Jane has also faced plenty of challenges. She's been through controversies. She's faced criticism. She's battled health issues. She's seen marriages come and go. And yet, through it all, she has never been afraid to speak her mind or live authentically. That's one thing people admire about her. She tells the truth, even when it's not easy. So it's no surprise that now, as she looks at the later years of her life, she's being just as open about what comes next. At 87, she has started talking publicly about how she wants her story to end. She's not leaving those choices up to chance. She's not leaving her family to figure it all out later. She's making the decisions herself. And the way she talks about it, it's not morbid. It's freeing. Her burial plans are a reflection of who she is. Jane doesn't just want a final resting place. She wants her goodbye to match the way she's lived, full of meaning, full of purpose, and tied to the values she has stood for all her life. She's planning ahead because, to her, that's a part of living with intention. Now, let's be real for a second. Most of us don't want to think about this kind of stuff. It feels far away. Or maybe it feels too heavy. But here's the interesting thing. Experts in aging and end-of-life care actually say the opposite. They say that when people accept death as a part of life, they live better. They enjoy the present more. They stress less. They let go of fears and focus on what matters most. Doesn't that sound freeing? And that's exactly what Jane is showing us. She's leading by example. She's saying, don't wait until the last minute. Don't avoid the conversation. Make your plans, so you can spend your life fully, without that weight on your shoulders. And if you think about it, she's right. Let's imagine this. You've already made your decisions about the future. You've written down what you want. You've shared it with your loved ones. It's all clear. No confusion. No stress later. How would that feel? Probably lighter, right? That's the gift Jane is giving herself. And it's something all of us can do, even if we're not famous or wealthy. And here's the best part, it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need to be a Hollywood star with a big estate or a public legacy. You can start small. You can write a note. You can have a conversation with your family. You can decide something simple, like where you'd like to rest or what kind of message you'd like to leave behind. It doesn't have to be a huge, dramatic plan. It just has to be yours. That's one of the most powerful lessons in Jane's story. It's not just about her burial. It's about her attitude toward life. She's not running from the truth. She's not hiding from it. She's facing it, and she's doing it with honesty and dignity. And that's something that makes people admire her even more. You know what else? This isn't just about her. It's about her family too. By making her plans now, she's taking away so much of the burden that loved ones usually carry when someone passes. Think about how hard it is for families when they have to make those choices in grief. Jane is sparing them that pain. She's showing them love by taking control of it herself. And if we look deeper, this is also about legacy. Jane Fonda has always cared about what she leaves behind, not just movies or awards, but real change. She's been an activist, fighting for causes she believes in, from the environment to women's rights to social justice. And she wants even her final chapter to reflect those values. That's powerful. That's intentional. Now, let's pause here and think. If you had the chance to decide how you'd be remembered, what would you choose? Would it be a place that mattered to you? A message you'd want people to carry on? A tradition your family would keep alive? These are the kinds of questions Jane is answering for herself. And maybe her openness can inspire us to think about our own answers too. It doesn't mean you have to have it all figured out today. But just imagining it can change your perspective. It can make you see what matters most. It can help you focus on what you want to do with the time you have now. And in the end, isn't that what life is really about? So, Jane's story is more than just a headline. It's a reminder that making peace with the end helps us live better in the middle. She's showing us that planning your final chapter isn't about death. It's about freedom. It's about love. It's about living every day without fear. And now I want to ask you. If you could decide today how you'd want to be remembered, what would your answer be? Would it be about your family? Your work? A place that feels like home? Whatever it is, it's worth thinking about. Jane Fonda has her answer, and she's not shy about sharing it. She wants her final resting place and her farewell to be a reflection of her life, her values, and her journey. And honestly, that's something we can all learn from. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Share in the comments what you'd want your legacy to be, or how you'd like to be remembered. Let's make this a conversation, just like Jane has done by opening up about her plans. And if you found this story meaningful, make sure to check out my other video on another Hollywood legend's legacy. I think you'll find it just as thought-provoking. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the bell so you don't miss any future stories. Because at the end of the day, stories like Jane Fonda's aren't just about saying goodbye. They're about choosing how to live, fully, honestly, and with intention, right up until the very end. So remember, it's not just about how the story ends. It's about how you live every moment before it. And Jane Fonda is reminding us of that in the most powerful way.